don't want to hear the words elite quarterback thrown next to Lamar Jackson's name again. He's got to earn that. And right now, he has not earned that. Because in order to be an elite quarterback, you got to play well in the postseason. Elite quarterbacks don't have great regular seasons and then just completely fold in the postseason. But unfortunately now, that's been Lamar's career. There's enough of a sample size where we've seen him now about to win 2 MVP awards for regular season play. And outside of one second half last week against the Texans, he's been awful in the postseason. He has been awful. The regular season Lamar Jackson we have seen dazzle, be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, win 2 MVPs, has not, outside of one half of one playoff game, has not been that Lamar Jackson we have seen in the postseason whatsoever. And to me, if you're an elite quarterback, yeah, absolutely, you have to play well in the regular season and be one of the best. But also, you have to carry that over and continue that high level of play in the postseason. That's something Lamar has not done continuously. He's been not just like average, underwhelming. He's been bad. He has been bad in the postseason, and we saw it yet again on Sunday at home. There's a lot of blame to go around. I'm not pinning it all on Lamar. The play calling was horrific. The receivers were not open whatsoever. The run game was abandoned way too early. There are other areas we can point blame to outside of just Lamar Jackson for sure. But again, if you are an elite quarterback, you find ways around those issues to make things happen. Look at Patrick Mahomes this year. I'm not saying every quarterback has to play like Patrick Mahomes, but you look at his receivers who have been problematic all season long. That offensive line having issues with guys like Juwan Taylor and others. The run game being a little bit hit or miss as well. Travis Kelce regressing this season and not being that dominant force we've seen him be now for years on end. It didn't matter. He found a way to get it done and still played at a very high level in the postseason, despite the fact he had, the worst career stats he's had in a regular season since 2018. Elite guys find ways to get it done, and Lamar consistently has found ways not to get it done. 2-4 now in the playoffs, and again, has not looked very good in them. Has not looked very good whatsoever in these postseason games. And what's also concerning now going forward, if you're the Ravens, is you look at his demeanor. You look at how that team responded to their leader. Lamar was frustrated. And he was frustrated early. And you could see that sense or that feeling permeated to the rest of the team. Lamar is one of those guys that everybody rallies around. And they feed off his energy. Today, his energy was awful. Was not one of an elite quarterback. Panicked throughout the game. He was someone that it felt like he was forcing things and got out of rhythm pretty quickly. At least for me, watching that game, it felt like the Ravens were trying to play the same style of football as the Chiefs. Their offenses are not built to play the same style of football. But it felt like the Ravens were not only trying to win this game, but they were trying to beat the Chiefs at their own game and also bully them around and try to intimidate them. That's loser energy right there. That's a loser mentality to say, oh, we're going to, intimidate you. We're going to worry about barking in your face instead of making a good tackle. Instead of, keying on our fundamentals, we're going to worry about, standing over you and letting you know we made a big play. The costly mental errors from the Ravens kept occurring all game long. They look like they're out there more to fight than they were trying to win a football game. And when they were on offense, it was like, okay, let's just air it out. Oh, Mahomes is throwing it? Mahomes threw the ball 39 times in this game, completed 30 passes. Lamar threw the ball 37 times. Is that the Ravens offense? Trying to go throw for throw with Lamar Jackson? Absolutely not. Is that totally on Lamar? No. But elite quarterbacks find ways to overcome bad situations and at least find ways to still play well in the postseason. And that now continuously has not been Lamar. So I don't care about the 2 MVPs as that's the reason why he's an elite quarterback. Elite quarterbacks with 2 MVPs don't completely flop in the playoffs the way Lamar has now for 5.5 out of 6 playoff games. This is not an overreaction to one game. This is a reaction to the entire postseason career of Lamar Jackson, who was awful in his rookie year against the Chargers, who was equally as bad the next year when he won his first MVP in 2019 playing the Titans, who, when they played the Titans the next year after that, they got the win, was not pretty. Lamar did not look good whatsoever. Then in Buffalo was awful, and his pick 6 was the difference in that game. And then you look at the last 2 games, the first half against the Texans, he was off and out of whack. Great second half. And this entire game, he reverted back to how he's looked throughout his entire career in the postseason. And so now when you have a 6-game sample size of Lamar Jackson playing poorly in the postseason, I can't sit here and tell you he's an elite quarterback. He's got to earn that with his postseason play. And that is not something he has done so far. I was very disappointed with what I saw from Lamar and also with the Ravens. They were undisciplined. The coaching was awful. The game plan was terrible. You watch them this year, and I'll be honest, I was someone who was very slow in the Ravens bandwagon. I didn't buy in. I really kind of thought like, we'll see when the postseason comes around. I wasn't sold when they blew out the 49ers. Wasn't all in when they blew out the Seahawks or the Lions. Like, if you look at their regular season, they gave you no reason to doubt them. Yeah, ugly game against the Colts. You lose early on. Disgusting loss to the Steelers. But for the most part, with how they played, they gave you no reason to be like, oh, wow, this team, no reason to think they couldn't get it done in the postseason. No reason to think that, like, oh, they got a fatal flaw. Defense, number 1 scoring defense in the NFL, number 4 scoring offense. They checked every box. And so as someone who was very late to the party, who kept saying, I want to see more and more and more, finally bought in this past week. Finally was in on, you know what? I've doubted the Ravens for a while, even picked the Texans last week to go in there and upset them. But enough's enough. I'm going to go now and finally give the Ravens their just due and pick them because they've given me no reason to doubt them. And as soon as I do that, they come out like a totally different team. That defense that has been physical, that has stuffed every team's run game, all of a sudden now couldn't guard Travis Kelce, couldn't get a stop, couldn't get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Offensively, couldn't run the football, gave up on the run insanely early, started throwing the ball deep now all of a sudden, forcing it. What I watched earlier today was a completely different Ravens team that I've seen through the rest of the season. I don't know what they were trying to do, if they were trying to send a message of, we're not only going to win, but going to win playing your game. But they were made to be fools. They looked like fools on Sunday. I mean, the Chiefs scored 17 points. I want to give and will give Mahomes a lot of credit for how he played and getting this team to the Super Bowl. But 17 points? And if you're the Ravens at home, you can't get 18? I can't call Lamar Jackson an elite quarterback. I can't. He's got to earn that tag back with how he plays in the postseason. Because right now it's been anything but elite.